So if you're planning to buy a home in the near future or you've never bought a home before, this video is for you. Now, even though there's a lot of talk about rising interest rates and all of that noise, put that aside, it's not a bad idea to get educated about the home buying process. That's what this video is about. I'm going to go over the 7 steps to buying a home. If this is your first time here to my channel, what's up? My name is Jeremy Mateo. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Hawaii. I've helped many people, including myself, buy and sell real estate here on the island of Oahu. All right, let's get to it. So step 1 is finding a real estate agent. Now, this agent can be any person that you pick. Obviously, you want someone that is knowledgeable about the real estate market and someone that you can trust, AKA me. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I will say that, maybe if you know a friend or a family and they're kind of new, I still would recommend to use them. The reason is because, they're your friends, they're your family. They would appreciate it if you use them and help them kickstart their career. I only say this because I was once the new young real estate agent just starving to help a bunch of clients out. And my first clients were my friends and my family. And I always want to support new real estate agents because yes, I truly believe that anyone can be successful in this business as long as you put in the work. And if they're putting in the work, you can help them be successful if you just gave them the opportunity. Now, let's say you do want to help support your friend or family that's a new real estate agent, but you're kind of hesitant because they're a little new. That's okay. Completely understandable. What you should do is go to them and be like, hey man or woman, I'd really love to use a real estate agent, but you're new. Is it okay if you have a mentor or a experienced real estate agent to help guide the both of us throughout this process? Your friend that's a real estate agent would be more than willing to accommodate that. All right, so once you got your real estate agent, you want to meet with them, talk to them, go over your wants and needs and get on the same page. Be like, hey, Mr. Miss Realtor, I want a 3-bedroom in this neighborhood with a pool, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Once you do that, the next step before you go see homes in person is you want to get pre-approved. So that is the next step. Get pre-approved with a mortgage loan officer. The reason why this is step 2 and you do not want to do anything else before doing this is because you don't want to waste time. So story time real quick, when I was a new real estate agent trying to follow these steps, I had one client who I was trying to get pre-approved and he was like, no, man, I know what I want. I want an $800,000 home in this neighborhood, blah, 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 ready to go. And I was like, cool, this guy knows what he wants. Let's get pre-approved later. He's just ready to go, let's go. So after seeing maybe 5 to 10 homes, we find the home that he wants. And we're like, all right, let's submit an offer. But when you submit an offer, you need to submit a pre-approval letter with the offer. So since we didn't begin that process before we started homes, we had to do that process right then and there as we're getting ready to submit the offer. However, during the pre-approval process, we found out that he's not even approved to buy an $800,000 home. So guess what? I look stupid. My client felt stupid. My lender thought we were stupid. I'm just kidding. But as you can see, we just wasted a lot of time seeing all these homes that my client wasn't even pre-approved or qualified to buy. Another thing to note is that the pre-approval process takes a little time, maybe 5 to 7 days. The reason is because you need to submit a bunch of documents to the lender. The lender needs to analyze those documents, crunch numbers, and figure out what is an appropriate pre-approval price for you to buy. If you find a home that you absolutely love and you need to submit an offer ASAP because maybe there's a bunch of other people submitting an offer, guess what? It might take time. And if you don't have a pre-approval letter right then and there, all these other people who are prepared and have a letter can submit their offer quicker than you, and guess what? You might lose the house. So if you're thinking about buying a home soon, meet with your realtor, and after you do that, go get pre-approved with a mortgage loan officer ASAP. Once pre-approved, your loan officer is gonna be like, all right, Mr. or Miss, whatever, you're pre-approved for $500,000 purchase. So that means go look for homes at $500,000, maybe a little above, for negotiation room and below. Don't ask your realtor to go see $1 million home. If you want to see $1 million homes, go to open houses. I'm just being real. So earlier I said that your lender is going to ask you for some documents. These documents are usually 3 things. The first thing is that they're going to ask for your last 2 years of your tax returns. This is to show, okay, this is my income. I am qualified for an X amount of purchase. The next documents they're gonna ask for is the last 2 months of your bank statements. This is to show them that you have the funds for your down payment and closing costs. The third one, which is actually something that they can get, is pulling a credit report to see, okay, does this person have a good credit score and are they credit worthy enough to buy this home? Another important thing that some people overlook is that your lender is gonna wanna see that you've been working at your job for at least the last 2 years. So if you've been waiting to buy a home, I highly recommend that you do not quit or move jobs. Because if you do switch jobs, you're gonna have to restart those 2 years all over again. I know, it sucks. And I've had clients who've been working at their job for a year and 10 months and they switched jobs, and guess what? They had to restart the 2 years again. The only time where the 2 years doesn't restart is if you go from like job A to job B and the job is still the same. So like if you're at job A working as an HR person and you switch to job B and you're still an HR person, then those 2 years will not restart. All right, so step 3 is you're going to browse for homes online. This is where you go on, Redfin, Zillow, realtor.com, or my favorite website, my website, right here, jeremymateohawaii.com. Find all of your Oahu real estate listings. So basically, this is where you look for homes online and see what appeals to your wants and needs. Common question I get is, Jeremy, I'm looking in this area. Do you have listings in this area? Most of the time, technically, the answer is no, I don't have listings in this area. But the way it works is that if you're looking for homes in this area, whatever's listed is listed by other real estate agents who are representing the seller. For me, I'm representing you, the buyer, and whatever home you want, you can buy it. I will just represent you in purchasing that home. And when you're browsing for homes online, remember to keep in mind your wants versus your needs. Understand what you want in a home versus what you need in a home. You may want a house with a pool, but you may need a home with a 2-car garage because you have 2 cars. Unless you have the budget to buy whatever you want, then awesome, by all means go buy whatever you want. My point is that most of the time, most first-time home buyers are gonna have a bunch of boxes that they want checked off. What I'm telling you right now is to manage your expectations and expect to not find the perfect home. Like, there's no perfect home. They'll maybe check off some boxes, but maybe not all the boxes. But hey, maybe you find a home that checks off all of your boxes. Then congratulations, you are not a picky buyer. And I've worked with picky buyers, and it f***ing sucks. Anyway, step number 4 is see homes in person. For all my millennials or Gen Zers out there, or actually anyone, have you ever seen someone's Instagram or Tinder and then you go on a date with someone and you're looking at the person and then you're looking at them on Instagram and you're like, wow, this person looks nothing what they look like online. Well, the same goes for real estate too. You might see a home online and it looks super nice with all the staging and all this great lighting, but when you go to see it in person, it kind of looks like shit. And that definitely happens sometimes. So that's why, especially as a first-time home buyer, you really want to go see the home in person. That way, you see how it is, you feel how it is to live in this house, in this neighborhood. Online, it might look like a really nice house, but when you go there, you see that next door is a crack house. Or maybe, the street is cool, and is it next to like a town plaza? Or maybe there's like a waste dump nearby and the air smells like shit. That is definitely a possibility. I know some people have heard of the term, buying things sight unseen. That is when people buy a property without seeing it in person. If you're a first-time home buyer, I really do not recommend this because there's a lot of risk. And if it's your first time, you definitely want to see how it is in person. But there are some cases where you can't do that. I know that happens here a lot in Hawaii, especially with military families. When they're moving here to Hawaii, they can't afford to come here to Hawaii and see the house in person, move back, and then decide, So this is where, if you're a military family or whatever, and you're coming here to Hawaii, you need a really great real estate agent who will go to the homes in person, who will FaceTime you, who will take lots of pictures, lots of videos, and show you, okay, this is how the home is in person or kind of virtually. A really great real estate agent will do this for you, like me. So after seeing a bunch of homes in person, this is where you actually decide what you want to buy. Now, if you're a picky buyer or you don't know what you want, I suggest using the process of elimination. If you have all these homes that you're sort of interested in, go with, okay, I don't want this, I don't want that. Okay, this home, it has the most boxes checked off on my list. Once you decide to commit to a house, it is time for step number 5, and that is submitting an offer. When submitting an offer, this is time for your real estate agents to shine. This is where the negotiation takes place. And for those that have been paying attention to the real estate market, in the last 2 years, there was basically no room for buyers to negotiate at all. It was an absolute seller's market where buyers were going 50K, 100K over asking, unlimited appraisal clauses, even going as far as naming their unborn first child after the seller, which makes no sense at all. But now the tables have turned and it's now shifted into buyers having more leverage. So what you're seeing now is that buyers can actually negotiate for a lower price. They can have the sellers pay for closing costs. And something that has come up recently is that they are asking sellers to credit the buyers for a 2-1 buy down to buy down their interest rate because interest rates are so high right now. I'll probably do a video about what a 2-1 buy down is later on in the future. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, negotiation is fair game. This is basically whatever you and the seller can agree with. So once you and the seller can finally agree on a price and terms and there's an accepted offer, it's time for step 6, which is begin the escrow process. The escrow process is basically when you have the escrow title company as the middleman, then you have you, the buyer, and then the seller. The escrow title company basically makes sure that both parties, buyer and seller, do what they're supposed to do in this transaction. For you, the buyer, it's basically they make sure that you submit your earnest money deposit, initial deposits, they make sure your lender funds on time, and then they make sure that the seller does everything that they're supposed to do. And then when it comes time for closing, they make sure that the title is successfully transferred from seller to you, the buyer. My favorite example of what an escrow and title company is supposed to do is that when you go into escrow, you, the buyer, need to submit an initial deposit. This could be like $1,000, maybe $5,000, or whatever you guys agree on. Now, you wouldn't give this deposit to the seller directly because that's kind of weird. Like, if they're a sketchy seller, they could take your deposit and just run off and disappear. You would give this deposit to the escrow title company and they hold it until the transaction closes. So that is basically what the escrow title company does. Now, the escrow process, this is usually around 30 to 45 days or whatever is agreed on in the contract. This is the time where basically you, the buyer, and your agent do your due diligence. You guys want to do as much inspections as you can and figure out anything that's wrong with the property that you didn't know about prior. This is where you do your home inspection, your termite inspections, you get your condo docs if needed, you do your appraisals, etc., etc. This time you basically try to find out if there's anything wrong that you didn't know, and at least you're knowledgeable about it, and that's when you decide, do I still want to buy this home? An example is, let's say you do the home inspection, and during the home inspection you find out that there's something wrong, like maybe there's a small leak or there's some damage to the property. This is where you, as the buyer, can do 3 things. 1, you can ask the seller to fix this problem. Number 2, you can ask the seller to credit you money to fix this problem at closing. Or number 3, if you and the seller just can't agree, then you're able to back out of this transaction and cancel, and you can get your deposit back. So let's say everything goes according to plan, there's nothing wrong with the property, or maybe you and the seller are able to agree to a certain, repair or whatever. Awesome. Then after that, 30 to 45 days, your loan is processed, and then boom, you're able to move on to step 7, which is the final step, is you close and move in. Congratulations, you are officially a homeowner, and now you can do whatever you want. You can throw a party, throw a housewarming party, whatever. Hopefully your real estate agent buys you a nice closing gift. I know for my clients, I usually get them a nice gift. Most of the time I get them a nice grill. So if you want a nice grill, go ahead and hit me up and I'll help you buy a house. So there you have it. That is basically the entire home buying process from start to finish. Not all home buying process are exactly the same, but after helping numerous clients, including myself, buy and sell real estate, that is basically the gist of what a real estate transaction consists of. And believe it or not, it's not as hard as what people think. It's actually pretty easy and simple. If you like this video and you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. And if you're looking to buy property here in Oahu, please go ahead and send me an email right here, contact@jeremymateohawaii.com. I'd love to help you get started. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time.